From Montgomery to Hill, Greene County and Perry's Portia taking on the black building. She ain't scared. Marengo County, something county, Will Cops and Barber. Interviewing everybody, sister, brothers, and mamas. It's Portia.
And Dante is a true activist. I know we saw in the news, people were sharing the article about the Durham 14 that were arrested for tearing down the Confederate statue in Durham, North Carolina. I'm not going to hurt your case or anything like that, but I just wanted to know what got you to that point.
Wow. Well, here in North Carolina, we just like most areas in the South. The struggle against white supremacy and racism is always a central struggle in any struggle that we take on. I'm a labor organizer. We organize mostly focus on black workplaces, city workers and other, workplaces. But man, it's a hard question. I mean, really with seeing an open white supremacist, when Donald Trump was actually coming through North Carolina during his election campaign, like when he was in Fayetteville, and he allowed, and this old white man was able to punch a young black man named Raekwon in the face, and Donald Trump offered to pay for the white man's legal expenses, and then Raekwon actually had to go into hiding, and we had to take him into
wow,
and to give him a safe house in the Triangle away from white supremacists trying to go after his life. And seeing that Donald Trump being a cheerleader and a spokesperson for organized white supremacist violence, particularly targeted black people, but also state repression targeting, undocumented and all immigrants, the workers' movement coming after, continuing, to seek and support from, fraternal order police and police organizations and, Border Patrol and increasing the authority of federal agencies like Border Patrol to extend their reach into local communities, even beyond the borders, and really a federal police department in terms of state repression, not just on our movements, which have always targeted state violence, has always targeted black people in particular, and brown people, but just going after, just continue to go deeper and to repress any sign of resistance,
right?
And so, seeing all that with the role that Trump did, when he came right after the election, the loyal white knights of the Ku Klux Klan tried to have a victory cavalcade in Pelham, North Carolina, not far from here, in December 5th, about a month after he was elected. And we built the Triangle People's Assembly and had a mass demonstration of about 3,000 people to say this is our state. We rallied as a black organizations, Latino, Muslim, white, working class organizations, rallied to say this is our state. The white supremacists are not welcome here. So after what happened in Charlottesville, the people of Durham, because the state legislature, which is largely dominated by white supremacists, in the Republican Party, had passed a law in 2015, General Statute 100-2.1, that prohibits local governments, city, county, and school boards from taking down historical monuments such as Confederate monuments, which swarm our state capital, many local government, including the Confederate monument that was on the Durham County Courthouse lawn. We couldn't have gone to the county commissioners and appealed for them, no matter how much organization and whatever people say, thoughtfulness, and isn't there a better way to take them down? There was no other way to take them down. We had to take matter into our own hands. We couldn't wait for the elected officials because the law didn't allow us to. We couldn't go and hope that some other power would do it, because they're not. And in our local, we had to analyze the balance of power and balance of forces, and we realized we had to take it down. So on August 14th, a few hundred people rallied. It was a demonstration, a black and brown led demonstration, multinational demonstration in the community. And we decided we had to take matters into our own hands, and we took down the Confederate statue, and it crumbled right before our eyes.
It did. It really did. Which I said when that happened was that it was time. If you be reached,
you can reach me. You can look up my name, Dante Strabino, on Facebook. You can email me, dantestrabino@gmail.com, or you can look up Defend Durham. Or you can look up, the UE Local 150, the North Carolina Public Service Workers Union, on Facebook or on the web as well.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dante, for your continual fight. Keep pushing. Be safe. And I definitely will be praying for your success.
All power to the people. We will.
All right. Is there anything else you want to lead the people from the Black Belt of Alabama?
Wow. Love to continue to dig in and us learn how to continue to take down all institutions of white supremacy. Because it's not just about the statues, it's about the institutions of white supremacy. Whether it's a school-to-prison pipeline or gentrification or Jim Crow anti-worker laws or police brutality, there's many aspects of white supremacy that impact us. And looking forward to continue to build and broaden the movement with you all down here, down south, where it really counts. So,
all right, thank you so much.
Definitely, thank you, Portia.
Ending the evening with Miss Nicole. Nicole, please tell people your name.
My name is Nicole Townsend.
And you're from?
Asheville, North Carolina.
Asheville, North Carolina. One of the things that you're quiet fire. you sit all quiet and innocent in the group, and we find out you're a whole firecracker. Tell us about your experience of fighting white supremacy here in North Carolina.
So I live in Asheville, and Asheville is known to be the utopia of the South, meaning that it's beer city of the South, and people come and enjoy the landscape. But unfortunately, we live in a liberal bubble that continues to ignore the atrocities that have happened to black and brown people in Asheville. And after the incidents in Charlottesville, our local government decided to condemn white supremacy, which meant they were just going to say that white supremacists have no room in our city, but they were not actually doing what the people of Charlottesville asked them to do, which is remove Confederate monuments and identify the white supremacists in the area. And so myself and a couple organizers decided to actually listen to people in Charlottesville and attempt to remove one of the Confederate plaques that is in the middle of downtown Asheville.
Now, how do you wake up in the morning and say, you know what, I'm going to go tear this doggone statue down?
So I think this actually has a lot to do with the work that we've been doing all year. We've done some organizing around 1 million for the people and pushing the city to divest and stop giving money to the police and actually invest in the roots of our problems. And so we've just been doing a lot of grassroots organizing and throughout the year that has been considered really radical for Asheville. And so I think this just was another way of saying y'all are not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And so once again, the people are going to have to stand up and do this job.
All right. So one quick thing, you might see my bag right now. One quick thing you can say to young people about being involved.
Follow your heart and do what you know is right. There are going to be people who are always going to disagree with the choices you make, but as long as you put the people first, I don't think that you can go wrong.
That's perfect. Well, perfect ending to a great weekend. Thank you so much, Nicole.
Thank you.
Howard. One of the things that I know that you've been consistent of saying is the importance of unions. Yeah. In our area, we do have a lot of people that work in different areas with Facile, Mercedes, and different plants, Honda. But they're afraid of unionizing. Mm-hmm. Why is it important?
Unions are organizations of ordinary folk, basically working class people, and they benefit working class families. One of the reasons why you don't have unions so prevalent in the South, because actually it was a goal of plantation owners and white supremacists basically to separate and to put out a lot of really racist mythology, anti-union propaganda to actually separate black folks, African American people, from the very organizations can best benefit them.
Wow.
Now, racists and white supremacists have actually feared unions in the South so much that they changed federal law. When most workers, my father basically was one of the members of the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters Union, working with the railroad. I grew up in I used to speak from the church pulpit, basically leading Sunday school. My dinner table conversations with churches and unions. What Dr. King basically was raising is that understood that in the South, even as my father basically went over to fight against fascism in World War II, black GIs, you might see it under movies like Red Tail or Tuskegee Airmen, they had a double D issue that they went off to war with. Fight to win victory over fascism abroad and over racism and white supremacy at home, coming back from the war. One of the things that white supremacists did was they changed federal labor law. If you understand, Taft-Hartley is the law, basically the labor law created in 1947. It was during a period when you had more strikes and more worker upheaval with black GIs coming back from World War II that weren't going to put up with second-class treatment and second-class citizenship over risking their lives fighting against fascism overseas and coming back home to be treated basically as second-class citizens. So during that time, that basically the Dixiecrats controlling and in fact Strom Thurmond and basically running under the states' rights platform changed the National Labor Relations Act and put in what they call 14B that gave the state government supremacy over national federal labor law. The law was never perfect because those institutions that propped up basically Jim Crow, sharecropping, and slavery in terms of discriminating against agricultural workers, because so many of our folks are still dealing with sharecropping. When the Wagner Act was passed, domestic work was excluded because so many basically particularly doing domestic work, basically those things. So the law was changed to accommodate the subjugation and the ongoing discrimination of our people, even in terms of understanding the law. They further tried to weaken the labor movement in the South by putting in 14B to get state supremacy over the federal government to deal with issues of labor law, because they knew and feared that basically unionization of the South was basically going to accelerate the fight of black people for first-class citizenship and treatment. Unions help build power in our communities, and it speaks to the importance of black workers for justice, emphasizing that the black working class has to lead all united front and coalition struggle on behalf of black people. We cannot concede to those who have a certain education or have a certain title. We have to basically understand that the masses of our people make history, and basically that is always true, always has been true, always will be true. But unions, social unions, are the same kind of unions that help advance the struggle. COSATU is a social union. Basically, you look at other countries with oppressed nationalities throughout the African diaspora. Basically in Brazil, social unions are instruments of change, power, and liberation and freedom. That's why they're attacked so strong, because our class enemy, our people's enemy, fear strong unions. That's why so much propaganda against them. We got to basically study our own history and understand basically there's folks that have moved our struggle forward.
Thank you. I told y'all he was brilliant. Thank you so much. Mr. Orton, you are an incredible individual. I learned so much from you. And thank you for speaking to the people of the Black Belt.
No problem. And basically, I appreciate the opportunity to reach out. We basically have to learn from and inspire each other as part of our self-determination as a people to basically fight for liberation as any other people, and don't take a back seat. Don't let nobody treat us as second-class citizens, even on this understanding the importance of actually building strong unions.
Yes, sir. Very good.
This is another Too Cool production.
Well, the kingdom is my business, but now this right here is personal. Kingdom is my business, but now this right here is personal. Kingdom is my business, but now this right here is personal. This right here is personal. This right here is personal. Kingdom.